Hello everyone, welcome to this presentation for Red Hat's Open House 2021. The presentation will be about Project Thoth and how Project Thoth helps Python developers to create healthy applications. My name is Fridolin and let's get started. So Project Thoth is formed out of a team of engineers that are trying to make Python ecosystem a better place to code in. Project Thoth is in a bigger organization that is called AICOE, that stands for AI Center of Excellence, and that team is part of Office of the CTO. We are creating a service that Python community can use to improve their Python applications and to create healthy environment where developers can create applications rapidly and with high quality. If you're interested in this project, you can visit our homepage, that is ThothStation Ninja, where you can find all the relevant information, and basically all the information that I will talk about in this presentation is available on this homepage. So as stated, our mission is to make Python a better place to code in. I think it's no surprise that Python is one of the most popular programming languages out there. It's a scripting programming language. It's simple to use. It's very easy to learn. And given its adoption in data science and machine learning, it has growing popularity. You can very easily develop applications, prototype them, and at the same time create applications that can be pushed to production environments. But sometimes Python can be tricky. Let's create some artificial example in which we will use two libraries. One is Flask, that is a popular framework for building web services, and another library that we will use is called TensorFlow, that is a machine learning library. We will combine these two libraries and we will create some application. By installing these two libraries, we do not install just these two libraries, but we install also dependencies of these libraries that are brought into our environment, and they need to fit. Also, if we are running the application needs to run inside some environment that is provided by operating system. And as we use Python, we run some Python interpreter version that is offered by the operating system. Besides the Python interpreter, operating system can also provide us other native dependencies that can be directly or indirectly used by our application. This all software can or runs on some hardware, so it requires some hardware capabilities, and hardware can offer us, for example, GPU and different CPU families and CPU types that we can use to run our application. If we take a look at this stack, we see that there are multiple layers. So we run our Python application that has some direct dependencies. These dependencies bring other dependencies, meaning transitive dependencies of our application. And this all runs inside some Python interpreter that has some version. Then we have native dependencies provided by the operating system, also kernel modules, and then we have hardware. As you can see, it's pretty large stack, especially considering different versions of libraries, different versions of Python interpreters that are available, but also different versions of operating systems, native dependencies shipped with the operating system, and also quite large variety of hardware that is available out there. Any issue in any stack causes that the application misbehaves, produces wrong results, or simply does not start at all. So we need to make sure that all the layers fits together and provide the right environment for running our application. Okay, so if we take a look at these, we need to pick some libraries in some specific versions that are suitable for running our application. So we need to pick libraries that install correctly into our environment. After the installation is done, we need to make sure that libraries that are installed do not have any bugs. And they perform well in our environments. So if we have computational heavy applications, then the installed software can utilize correctly our hardware to get the most performing application possible. If we use some GPU, then these libraries should be configured and picked properly so that they can utilize GPU. Picking libraries to satisfy all these requirements can be tricky, and it requires additional knowledge, such as which libraries install into the environment, which libraries do not have bugs that can occur in our applications, or which libraries utilize the GPU that is offered inside our environment and use a GPU for computational heavy tasks. This is something, or installing applications, installing libraries is something that dependency resolvers do. Recently, there was released PAPE in version 20.3 that featured a new dependency resolver, and the resolution algorithm works in a way that it resolves Python dependencies to the most recent versions possible, given version range constraints in our applications. If we consider all these aspects that we talked about earlier, then we need some smarter picking, as always, as latest software that is picked by pip is not always the greatest choice. I think there doesn't need to be mentioned issues with the most recent releases that break software. Pip resolver resolves to the most recent versions of libraries. And if you take a look at other resolvers, such as pipenv, poetry, all these resolvers tend to resolve to the most recent versions of libraries. But that's something that's not always desired. So which libraries should I use when running my Python application? And that's something that Thoth can advise on. Thoth can advise on software packages that should be installed inside environment, and can consider different aspects of runtime environment and quality of software that is installed. So based on some aggregated knowledge about software, Thoth can advise which packages should be installed. In this case, Thoth acts as a brain that recommends which libraries in which versions should be installed. Besides other aspects, it considers requirements on dependencies, hardware and software, environment, and also intention with the application. So users can end up with different set of libraries in case of machine learning model training, and different set of libraries or library versions when the model is pushed to production. If you would like to use Thoth, you can do so. We provide a command line interface that is called Thamos. You can simply install it by issuing pip install Thamos, and then two commands will configure your environment and ask for an advice for your application stack. These two commands are Thamos config and Thamos advice. So Thamos is one of the integration points how you can use Thoth services. This approach is triggering server-side resolution. So once you install Thamos, prepare your environment. The last command stated Thamos advice gathers information about your environment and submits it to the backend that performs server-side resolution that takes into account information about libraries and all the quality aspects, so the resolution algorithm can give you back a set of dependencies that should be installed in order to run your application correctly. Another integration point with Thoth are Jupyter notebooks. Jupyter notebooks are quite popular quite popular data science toolbox. It provides you an environment where you can easily experiment with data and present your results. In Jupyter notebooks, people tend to install dependencies using these selc commands where they directly issue pip and install required dependencies. This is bad practice because dependencies change over time, and this way of installing dependencies basically discards any reproducibility of Jupyter notebooks. That's why we offer a jupyterlab-extension that can be installed inside your jupyterlab and can use the recommendation engine that resolve software server side. Moreover, this jupyterlab extension manages log files in notebooks. So the log file stating all the dependencies with all the versions that were used for running the notebook are injected into your jupyterlab notebook, and that means that if you open your Jupyter notebook 1 year later, you know which dependencies you used for running the notebook earlier. If you are more interested in this, you can check a blog that was published and is called Managing Python Dependencies with Thoth Jupyterlab extension. Here is a screenshot of a running extension inside a jupyterlab notebook, and here you can see that dependencies are managed. Another integration point that you can use and we offer to Python community are bots that can help with application development and application lifecycle. And the goal is to reduce mundane work and focus really on delivering solutions. So developers are freed from dependency updates, release management, application release management, and stuff like that. The bot is called Kebehet, and you can install it as a GitHub application. Visit this link to install it on your Git repository. After you install this bot, the bot will automatically handle your repository, will set up the environment, and will manage your dependencies and your repository so that your application is in a healthy state, and all the mundane work is performed by bot automatically. Here is an example of automatic dependency update that bot triggered. So you see there were updated dependencies inside repository. Here is another use case of this bot when a user created a new issue called new minor release, and the bot automatically assigned itself to this release, created changelog for the application, and closed the release issue. Once this issue is closed, the release pipeline delivers a new release to a Python index. If you are interested more in Thoth, you can visit our webpage, that is thothstation.ninja. Here you can find a link to YouTube channel where we periodically post updates and information from our Scrum demos. So if you're interested in this project, feel free to visit this YouTube channel. We have also a Twitter handle where we post updates and new approaches that we take inside the project. If you want to start using Thoth, you can click on Get Started button that will walk you through the installation procedure, and will walk you through the initial setup that is needed. And if you want to get in touch or you want to get involved in Project Thoth, feel free to click on the Get Involved button, which will guide you to the section that will give you more info on how to approach us, how to contact us, and how to find other sources for Project Thoth. Here you can see useful links, and this way I would like to thank you for your attention and hopefully see you on our channels. Thank you.